All right. Hi, my name is Dinu. I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks. These are things you basically may or may not know, depending on how long you've been playing Fright Rising. Um, and these are like easily overlooked things that occasionally people will talk about it in the forums or on Tumblr or something, and a lot of users will be like, "What? You can do this thing? I had no idea." So I figured I would compile a bunch of these tips and tricks and share them with you. So, without further sorry, uh, unlocking an apparel slot with gems not only unlocks it for that one dragon, like right here, so unlocking for 150 gems, uh, not just this one dragon, it applies to every single dragon in your lair. So if I unlock with Seratina an apparel slot, it'll also unlock that same number of apparel slots for Sempervirens. So again, if you just click here, unlock for 150, this apparel slot will also be unlocked for every single dragon that you own. So, yeah. Um, if you list something on the AH or the auction house, uh, like multiple something. So let's say I wanted to list one of these guys, and I'm gonna say for 200, right? And I post this. You can click this instead of clicking continue. Wait, well, hold on. Post auction, yes. You can click X instead of this continue, sorry. And then post again, yes. And it's just a faster way of listing items on the auction house instead of clicking continue, so you don't have to type everything out again. Let me just cancel these because I use them for Baldwin fodder. You can also quickly buy dragons on the auction house by using the enter key quickly to confirm your purchase. It's useful for sniping. You can use F5 to refresh. Hold on, let me get some dragons up here. Say I wanted to buy this guy. I click buy, and then instead of clicking on purchase, I would press enter because it's already highlighted. Obviously, this is only going to work on desktop because you have to press the enter key. You can also press F5 to refresh, and it easily refreshes for you. So this is very, very useful if you are participating in your flight dominance or just sniping dragons during a dominance push. The next tip, you don't have to press close when bonding with familiars. You can just press the arrow key and it goes to the next dragon. So you can hover over bond, press the arrow key, bond, press the arrow key, bond, press the arrow key. Obviously this only works on desktop as well. You can also quickly exalt multiple dragons by pressing the let's say exalt. You would just press enter. I don't want to exalt this dragon, obviously. Press enter, arrow key over, exalt, press enter, arrow key over. The only thing I recommend with this trick is to make sure all of your fodder is named. Otherwise, you're going to exalt an unnamed dragon and potentially an untrained dragon. Um, Obviously, if you don't care about exalting unnamed dragons, then by all means go ahead. And I would also have all of your exalt fodder at the very end of your lair, because once you get to your last dragons, you can go to your hibernal den and not accidentally exalt any of your precious permadragons. So that's my only word of caution for using that tip. Um, I have exalted unnamed and untrained dragons before, and you can only revive dragon, like one dragon per like 90 days or something. Speaking of which, you can revive dragons from being exalted in this support self-service area. You can also revive certain items from being sold in your hoard and restore them. It's going to come with a price. So I've done it recently because nature pushed and I accidentally exalted an unnamed untrained dragon. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to restore normal dragon, and it'll give you a pop-up of all of the dragons that you've exalted within the last 2 weeks. There's a treasure cost. You can only do it once every 90 days, so make sure it counts. The same thing happens with item restoration, only the past 14 days, so you can see, oh, I didn't mean to hoard sell my rich copper ore, so you can restore that. So that's there. You can restore your progenitor dragons. This can happen at any time instead of within the last 14 days. Because your progenitor dragons are like, I guess, quote unquote, more special, you only get them once, sort of thing, while normal dragons are a dime a dozen. So yeah, that's also there for whenever. The next tip is this game database down here in the library. The game database breaks down every single item by their color. So you can, if you're, I guess, coding bios or whatever, you're looking for a specific item that has a very, like, I want to look at all of the periwinkle items because I have a periwinkle dragon and I'm going to put all of the periwinkle colored items in that dragon's bio. You can search by color. This is also really useful for apparel. Say I want to look at all of the lavender items. You can look up all of the lavender items and they'll all be here. You can also see, if you click on a specific item, all of the gene colors involved with that item. And those are listed here, and they have the coverage and everything, which is fantastic. So that's just a useful tool to come across if you're looking for specific things. Next tip is the search function. So yes, you can search abusers, like, I don't know, Secret Saver. But you can also look up existing dragons, right? So this exists, and this is super, super helpful if you're trying to look for a dream dragon of yours. I'm looking for a grape maze dragon and see if any exist. Look, some exist, right? It's super useful. As of right now, you can't really save searches, but you can look at exalted, non-exalted, certain breeds, like everything you would think of in the auction house. You can look it up here to see if any dragons actually exist with your color combinations. It's super useful for projects. The forum search is also here, but obviously it's also in the forums through this thing right here. But the main thing I wanted to point out that a lot of people forget is that there's a dragon search. In drop-down menus like this, the next tip, you can start typing the color that you want. Say, I want marigold. I typed in MARI, and it popped up marigold, and I can just easily click it. Obviously, it's not gonna quite work. Like, there's sand and sand dollar, those two colors. So if you're looking for a specific one, SAND, you're gonna come up with sand dollar first. But if you want sand, you have to type it twice. Or like, wait, hold on. There's like a trick to it. SAND, SAN. Wait, I might have to pause. SAN. There you go. Eventually it pops up. So just be aware that happens. You can also do it for jeans. Let's say I wanted Jaguar. I typed it in. You can easily select it here. Say I want a glimmer. Easily type it there. So yeah, typing. You can also save auction house searches for anything, not just dragons. Obviously, you can load all of your searches up right here. Let's say I wanted an antique cream antique dragon. What? Oh, that I was like, why didn't that work? Let's say gray, white. Oh, there's one dragon. So let's say I wanted to save this search. You go over here, save it. Gray, white. Is usually how I name them, and you can load them. And it's alphabetical. Gray, white, and it'll load again. And if you wanted to delete them, you go over here, delete, close. But aside from dragons, you can also save any search. So I do nocturne eggs because that's a very hot item that people like to sell. Spare inventory crate, literally anything. If you're searching for a food item a lot, you can just type it once, save it, and load it for next time so you don't have to type it out. Another tip, we go to the dressing room. You can search apparel pieces by color. So if I'm dressing this Zand Mantis Cerulean, I might look for mantis colored apparel pieces, right? Let's say I only wanted stuff in the wings, you can use that. So you don't really have to memorize names of apparel pieces anymore. You can just search them up by color, and if you really want to narrow it down, you can just search it up by the body part that it ends up on. This search function can be a little glitchy at times. I've noticed that sometimes you get headgear is in the extras. I'm sure the devs are working on it, but for the most part it works. So that's just, an option. You can search by colors now instead of memorizing amethyst flourish anklets. You can also sort by ID, which is really helpful if you have been on the site for a long time and know that you're looking for a newer item. You can just go all the way back and know what you're looking for. Next tip is going to the Colosseum, sorry. Right here, let's say you have two dragons and their stones aren't lined up. So let's say eliminate was switched right here, but Galerions is right here. You can now move them or these stones around without having to get a new stone or sacrifice a stone. You can just move them around now. So if I wanted to eliminate here, you just relock your stones and it's there now. Obviously, I don't want it there because that would cause a lot of confusion, so I'm going to change that back. But it used to be you wouldn't be able to do this. You would have to get an entirely new stone and sacrifice a stone. So, Yeah, just know that there's a gear icon here, and you can move your stones around. Obviously, these two are the same stones. Yeah, I don't think you can move those. But if you ever have to move your stones around, you can do that now. You just click lock stones, and it's changed. Micro holidays. So there are these things called micro holidays. Let me find one. Spring Swarm. Okay. There are seasonal micro holidays. There's one for obviously each season, but there's also for food types. You have your insect, you have your meat, you have your seafood, and you have your plants. Um, and you get food that drops in the Colosseum, and specific enemies come out. And there's also an experience increase. A battle EXP boost is what it's called. You get 50% additional EXP. And if you're trying to train up a dragon for your Colosseum or for any Colosseum build, this is a great time to do it because it's going to take a lot less time for you to do it. And if you're like me, who doesn't really like being in the Colosseum or just isn't in the Colosseum a lot, this is literally the best time to level up dragons. So not only do you get a bunch of food that you would need, you also can train up your dragons that need training up. So definitely make use of this these micro holidays. There's Spring Swarm. There's a Frost one. I forget. But they all have their own like little familiars, and there's some scenes coming out for them. So there's 4 of them. They happen as the seasons change, and EXP boost and food that are actually worth a lot. So this one has 10 food points if you notice, and then this one just has 3. This one drops more commonly, this one not so much, but they can really be a bonus to your food stores. Apparently, and this is the first time I'm doing this, there is a trick for Baldwin. So we're gonna go to Baldwin. There's a trick for melting foods, materials, and other stuff faster and easier on mobile. It avoids going through the pop-up menu to select an item. So make sure your column is, or your cauldron is empty. You click on a stack of an item in your hoard. I'm gonna do this. Okay. You select transmute to ingredient. Loads Baldwin with the confirm if you want to melt this. And you can bookmark this page. Apparently. So, Baldwin. Save. Right? So you bookmark the page, you click transmute, and you start brewing. So you don't need a 99 stack, you just have a stack of whatever. When the melt is done, you open the bookmark again. It will yell at you that there's something in the cauldron. Collect it, and the page will reload with confirm you want to melt this pop-up. You confirm and melt, and it will start again, basically. It breaks if you move the stack, though. So going back to your hoard, if this ends up moving because I put some of this stuff away, the link will break. So that bookmark link will break and you'll have to re-bookmark it again. But apparently that's a trick. That's not my trick. I think a user named yikesalert suggested that one. And that's actually incredibly smart. Um, and that's all of the tips and tricks that I have so far. That's all of the ones I was able to gather on my Tumblr post. Hopefully that helps you do some stuff in the game easier and more efficiently. And that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any tips and tricks, obviously leave them in the comments down below. If this helped you, give a like, maybe give a comment to try and boost the video so others see it. Otherwise, thank you for watching, my friends, and until next time.